welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. It is officially Aquarian season. I'm an Aquarius. If you don't know that about me, you don't need to know that about me. But basically, a couple of years ago, I saw Shannon from Shreya do a Zodiac based makeup series and I really wanted to do one too. I thought right now is the perfect time since it is my sun signs time. Now, I'm not the hugest believer of sun signs or zodiacs, but I feel they're quite fun. What I've done for this series is I will be following a chart of colors that are assigned to each sun sign. I found a couple of different charts, but this one was the most common one, so I will be following this. Now, the color for Aquarians is blue, and that's what I wanted to represent in my makeup. I feel like it's turned out so pretty, so fresh, so fun. So yes, without any further ado, if you want to see how I got this makeup look, or you just want to see me put on some makeup, then please keep on watching. It's prime time and I'm using my Maybelline Baby Skin Pore Eraser. Such a throwback moment. Basically, I have the tiniest amount of product left in here. You guys know I have issues in finishing things up. I feel like I might need them someday. So I just keep 1 or 2 uses in them. But this year I am changing that fact. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this primer. I'm going to start applying this on the areas where I have most amount of pores. For me, that is the center of my face and also my chin area. And I'm also going to apply a little bit of this on my forehead just to give my face a smooth and blank canvas to work with. Moving on to foundation, I'm going to use my Smashbox Studio Skin Foundation. I love this foundation. The finish, the coverage, everything of this foundation is just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take a little bit of that product, not a lot, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dot it all over my face to make sure I don't have a lot of it in one place and it's all nicely spread out. And once I have dotted that out properly, I am going to be taking a flat top brush. I'm going to start stamping it into place. I've been loving the stamping technique because it retains the coverage of the product and blends it out beautifully too. So I'm just going to stamp it all over my face and make sure it's nicely blended out and I have no patchiness going on. Look at how gorgeous that foundation looks on the skin. It has so much coverage, yet it looks so natural. But now, it's time to hide those under eye bags because these are not Gucci, Prada, or for that matter, even Sarojini. I like Sarojini bags, but I don't like these bags. So I'm going to be using my Elle Camo Concealer, which is a long-lasting, high-coverage concealer. So it's great for people who have a lot of pigmentation on their skin or if your skin creases really quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a very little amount. I have just 1 dip of that and I'm just going to apply it right in my inner and outer corners of the eye. I'm going to go down the bridge of my nose, a little bit on my forehead, my cupid's bow, chin, and also under the area where I'm going to be contouring next. I haven't taken a lot of concealer because this is supremely full coverage and I'm not going to let it sit for a really long time since it does tend to set down really quickly. So I'm going to start blending out. I am going to blend out my eyes the last because it gives me a little bit of extra coverage. So I'm blending out my upper lip right now and I'm going to take it towards the corners of my nose since the corners of my nose do have a little bit of redness like most people's corners of the nose do. And then I'm going to blend out the area under my contour right here. This will just give me a little bit of a chiseled face. So I'm just blending that out. Don't worry, we are going to be going back in with our foundation brush to make sure there are no harsh edges and everything looks blended out beautifully. Now it's time to blend out the nose. So I'm just stamping everything in. Stamping, as I said, is currently my favorite way of blending everything out since it tends to retain a lot of coverage and still blend out everything. And once that is done, it's now time to do the eyes. So I'm going to again just stamp it into place. And with whatever's left on my brush, the excess, I'm going to take it down the sides of my nose. And also on the under eye area, just a little bit. And then I'm going to start blending out the outer corner. And with whatever's left with that, I'm going to go on my eye just a little bit to get rid of extra pigmentation so that when we apply eyeshadows, the colors can pop up. I'm going back in with my foundation brush and I'm going to make sure that all of the edges where my concealer and foundation meet are nicely blended out so that we don't have any harsh edges going on and everything looks seamless. Now to set my base into place, I'm going to use my K-Beauty Compact Powder. I have been really loving this one a lot. It's a beautiful powder, doesn't look dry or flaky on the skin and has a little bit of coverage in there as well. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a little bit of this powder. I'm going to start stamping this on my under eyes because that is the first area that creases on most people. So I'm going to powder them down and make sure that they are elongated in the wear time as much as they can be. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of this powder around my mouth because I do tend to talk and express a lot and that gives me smile lines. Now, if you are from the oily skin family, you can definitely apply this powder all over your face to set the rest of your face in place. For me, these two areas, once set, I am done because I come from the dry skin type and my foundation literally latches onto my face and I don't need to set the rest of my face. So I'm just going to ensure that these two areas are nicely set and we can move on to the next step. And now to bronze up my face and bring some life back to it, I'm going to use my Benefit Hoola powder. Again, this is one of my favorite bronzers of all time. You can see I have a huge pan in there and I actually love the brush that comes with it, and that's the brush that I use. So I'm just going to use this brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that product because this is highly pigmented, and again I'm just going to first stamp it into place. So I'm just placing the color first so that I know exactly where I want it to be, and then I'm going to start blending it upwards. You always want to blend your contour and your bronzers upwards. Blending it downwards literally defeats the purpose of getting a nice chiseled face line. Time for the other side now. I'm also going to apply a little bit of this on my forehead just to get a nice and bronzy look going on. Then a little bit would also go on my chin and my jawline, again just to get a nice cohesive look going on. And the last place where I'm going to hit it is on my nose. I'm not particularly contouring up my nose, just adding a nice little structure to it so that it doesn't look as flat as it does right now. Moving on, I'm going to use my ambient lighting powder from Hourglass. This is honestly one of the prettiest things I own in my collection. There's nothing like this that I own. And I'm going to use a small angled brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the areas where I have applied my bronzer. This just makes everything look airbrush almost. And it just makes everything look just so more seamless and beautiful. I am in love with this product. Like, I've fallen in love with this product all over again ever since I've started using it in my project pan. And I literally just use it by itself so many times. I don't even bronze up with anything else but just with this. It looks so gorgeous on the skin, has this beautiful natural sheen to it. Love it so much. So I'm going all over the areas where I have applied my Hoola bronzer just to make it appear a little bit softer and a little bit more natural. It's now time to blush up my cheeks. So I'm using my Becca X Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going to use the shade Pample Mousse from this palette, which is a beautiful peachy coral color. I love this blush so much. So I'm going to pick up a very tiny amount, not a lot, because this is a very highly pigmented blush. I'm going to start from the apples of my cheek and I'm barely touching the brush onto my face. I'm going to just push it back into my contour like that, so that it merges with the contour and it's like one part and not three stripes of products. Now, if you want a little bit structure to your face, you can definitely go for the contoured blush look. In that case, you will apply the blush here, right here, and not on the apples of your cheeks. I have been really loving the highly blushed apple of the cheek sort of a look, so that's what I am doing for my look. And once we have that on, I'm going to make sure that I blend it out. So again, in a very feathering motion, I'm just going in circular motions and making sure that it's nicely blended out. From the same palette, I'm going to pick up Prosecco Pop, which is a beautiful highlighter. I'm picking it up with the help of a nice tapered brush. I'm going to apply it on the tops of my cheeks just to highlight my cheekbones. And I'm going in very soft motion. As you can see, I'm barely touching the brush to my face. I'm going to feather it out a little bit again just to blend it out. This is a highly pigmented highlighter, so a light hand is always suggested. You can always build things up easily. Toning them down is the more difficult thing to do. And once I have this highlighter on the highest points of my cheeks, I'm also going to apply it on the tip of my nose, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, just to highlight all of those areas and bring a little bit of glow and attention to them. And now to mesh and marry all of those powders together, it's time to take a quick little shower in your setting spray. I'm using my Fix Plus from MAC, and I'm just going to spritz this all over my face from a distance. Now that my base is done, it's time to move on to the eyes. I'm starting with my brows and I'm going to use precisely my brow from Benefit. This is a micro fine eyebrow pencil. It's very slim and thin, so it's easy to make very defined strokes. And I'm going to start off by making strokes in the direction of my hair growth, just to make sure I don't have any sparse gaps in my eyebrows. I'm not going for the most defined look today. I'm going for the more bushier look, even though I'm not the biggest fan of soap brows or like bushy brows on me. But today we are experimenting a little bit. So I'm not structuring out my eyebrows like I usually do, but I'm just going and filling in any sparse gaps that I have. And now to achieve that slightly feathered look, I'm going to take my Fay Beauty Brash, because this keeps my eyebrows in place for hours and hours and hours. This is in the shade dark brown. I'm not using black because that would be a little too jarring. And I'm just going to brush my eyebrows upward like this. First, just to get a little bit of volume in them. I'm not going to leave them like this because this looks crazy, honestly. But I'm just going to first brush them up and make sure that they have a nice hold to them. And now I'm just ever so slightly brushing down the hair a little bit so that they're not so up and straight. Using a flat shader brush and my NYX eyeshadow base, I am going to clean up under my brows as well as prime my lid so that the eyeshadows can really pop up. And this is really crucial for me because I want my eyeshadows to look as bright as they possibly can, because Aquarius as a sign is very vibrant, colorful, eclectic and all of that. But first, cleaning up under the brows, because this brow mascara can get a little messy. I did a speed review on it recently, so I will leave a link for you guys up in the eye, so go ahead and check that out. But I'm just priming my lids to make sure that the eyeshadows are ready to go. Since the color for Aquarians is blue, it only makes sense that I use a blue palette. I'm using my Ocean Eyes palette by Nicka. I have talked about this palette earlier. I really like it. Beautiful colors, nicely pigmented, blend out so beautifully. So what I'm going to do is I'm picking up a beautiful big blender brush and I'm taking this blue shade right here, which is a powder blue shade. And this is going to be my transition color. So I'm coating my whole brush with this. I'm making sure I have a nice 360-degree even coating. And I'm going to start applying this on my crease. I'm making sure I don't have any creasing with the primer going on. I'm going to start applying this in my crease. I'm going to go in circular motions as well as windshield wiper motions just to get a nice even layer of this. I am going to be building this up so that I have the exact amount of color and coverage I want from this eyeshadow. So I'm just making sure I dust off the excess every single time I apply this so that I don't have fallout. And as you can see, even with just 2 coats, we have such a nice vibrant color going on. These are a definite worth your money palettes. They have a lot of colors, Do let me know if you like to see like a 5 or 10 looks with this one. I think 5 looks would be great. Like not with just this palette. I have so many Nicka palettes. Let me know if you like to see like 5 looks from this or something of that sort. I'd love to do it for you guys. But yes, I'm building this color up a little bit more just to get the right amount of intensity going on in my crease. Taking a slightly smaller shader blender brush, I'm going to pick up this Periwinkle blue shade. This is one of my most used shades. I love this shade so much. It's so unique, so gorgeous. And again, I'm just coating my brush completely with this one, dusting off the excess. And I'm going to deepen up my crease a little bit. So I'm starting from the outer corners. And then I'm going to stamp this color first into place before blending it out because I don't want it all over the place. I'm making sure I know my exact placement. And then I'm going to start blending it out in very, very short circular motions, so that we have a nice seamless blend going on. Now for the main lid space area, I'm actually going to pick up this shade first. I might mix in a little bit of the shimmers later on, but first I'm going to pick this beautiful blue up. Dusting off the excess, I'm going to start stamping this onto my lid. Oh my god, look at how gorgeously pigmented that shadow is. These shadows are so beautiful. You know, I'm actually really liking the all matte look. I might hop into the shimmer a little bit later on, but right now I really like how it is looking. But now I'm going to move on to a pencil brush. I'm going to pick up the deepest, darkest blue from right here, and we are going to be doing a forewing. Dusting off the excess, I'm going to place it right at my outer corner, and then I'm going to start pulling it out in a forewing just to give my eyes a little bit of extra definition and a little bit of oomph, because I really like what forewings do to my eye. I feel like forewings look good on almost everyone. You can definitely choose what length and what width you want for your forewing just according to your eye. But for me, this just adds a little bit of extra definition without it being too harsh. So I'm just defining my forewing a little bit and making sure that it has a nice edge to it. Look at how that instantly makes such a huge difference. I've been really enjoying forewings and they're so easy and quick to do as well. I'm also applying this deep blue on my lower lash line. This would prep my lower lash line for a step that I want to do later on, and hopefully this would look good. Otherwise, we'll have to remove and redo our lower lash line, which is always a pain. But yeah, for right now, I'm just applying this and making sure it's nicely blended out as well. For my inner corner, I'm going to go into another pencil brush. I'm going to pick up this shade right here. It's a white frosty shade and I'm going to apply it in my inner corners. This is the perfect highlight color for this look. I don't want a goldy highlight. I wanted a white frosty highlight because that complements blue a lot more than golden. And I'm just going to ensure I have a really bright inner corner. I am going for that bright inner corner look today. And a little lighter on my brow bone. So I'm just going with a very, very light hand, just dusting it very lightly. I don't want such a stark eyebrow highlight. I want a very gentle eyebrow highlight for this look. And now for my lower lash line, I'm going to go into this glitter from TS Cosmetics. It's in the shade Starfire. I've used this so much. Look at how much I've already used of this glitter. It's a huge tub and I've used a lot. But I'm going to take a nice petite brush for this. I'm going to pick up this glitter generously so that I have a nice coating. It has stars, it has a lot of different shapes and whatnot. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to apply this on my lower lash line, but I'm going to use my powder brush. I'm going to keep it down so that it can catch any fallout because glitter can have a lot of fallout. And I am just going to be applying this on my lower lash line just to get a nice and a little bit of detailing going on, like a quirky little detailing going on. I'm applying a little bit of that glitter onto my forewing as well because right now the eyes look a little incomplete with just the lower lash line going on. So I'm completing it with applying it on my forewing as well. Just a tiny bit of glitter on the forewing, not a lot. I'm not going as heavy-handed as I have on the lower lash line because I want the forewing to stand out and not be too glittery. It's time for mascara, and I'm using my ultimate favorite Lash Warrior Princess Mascara by Flower Beauty, and I'm going to coat my upper and lower lashes with this one. I'm going to make sure I do extra hard work on my lower lash line since I want to define them and I want them to be nicely separated. For my upper lashes, I'm not too bothered because I will be wearing falsies anyway. For my lower lashes, we're going to put in the extra hard work. So I'm going to make sure I wiggle my brush nicely through my lower lash line and I just make sure that they're coated completely with the mascara. I'm going to quickly pop on some falsies and then I'll come back to finish the look off with my lips. Okay dokes, lashes are on and I'm really liking this eye look. The glitter is more visible when I'm like moving my head around a little rather than when I'm keeping it static. But it looks so nice, so different. Let's finish off with the lips though. I'm doing nude lips because I think with such statement eyes, lips are supposed to be nude. That's the best decision to go for. So I'm starting off with PAC's Colourlock lip liner in the shade So Spicy, which is a beautiful brownie pink color. And I'm going to line and fill in my lips with this. So I'm just starting off with defining my lips a little bit. And then filling them in. And now to tone this color down a little bit, I'm going to use my Lime Prime Liquid Lipstick in the shade Elle, which is a beautiful nude color. I'm just going to apply it all over my lips. This is a much lighter nude, so it would give me a nice gradient of color as well. And I'm going to make sure I blend it in with my lip liner. So I am going to be feathering it towards the outer line. So I'm going to apply a nice layer on the centers of my lips. And as I go outwards, I'm going to blend it into the lip liner just to give me a beautiful gradient, as I said. And with that, we finished this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, then don't forget to comment and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. Also, let me know which zodiac sign or color you are the most excited for down in the comment section. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, take care. I love you all so much. Mwah. Bye.